Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we should be here ready to go for round 9 of League of Legends. How are you all doing? I'm joined here by Django.
What's up, gang? Let's get some epic games. We've got an absolute banger in our hands tonight. I can't wait.
Yeah, about to kick off here. Looks like it's going to be Jobseekers Alliance versus Destiny kicking us off here this week, and that is quite the banger because both teams fighting for their top 4 spots here. Destiny's sitting comfortable in that 3rd place, as you see on your screen here, and Jobseekers Alliance just almost breaking into that top 4, sitting in 5th place. This is a very important game for both teams in order to continue their streaks, in order to keep up that top 4 position there, to really lock in their playoff spot, because dropping any
100%.
games here, it's looking a bit harder.
Absolutely, and you know, Destiny really need to be like on their best behavior. It's crazy how tight those games between Destiny, Corona Spaceship, and Jobseekers are. Like, those 3 teams are actually so evenly matched right now that this is going either way, and it's whichever team doesn't make it, in my opinion, is actually going to be a pretty big upset this late in the tournament.
Yeah, we were about to start with classic DST things here. I think Finn's network, as it was last week, I believe, when they played, dropping out a little bit here and there. Looks like,
I'd love to see it.
Looks like he's having a bit of net issues again, so we'll give them a moment here, guys. But yeah, that just gives us more time to, you know, talk you into this matchup here. So Destiny, they started off this competition really strong, looking in form as always, but ever since Prodigium stopped jumping in and out of the roster, they've had a lot more shaky results. So we don't know how key he was to their success here, but they've fielded a lot of subs since that time, and they've had good results, don't get me wrong, but it's not the dominant Destiny we're used to. So what do you think they're going to do going forward? Do you think Prodigium's coming back? Do you think they're going to try and make it work with these subs? How is Destiny going to continue to dominate?
It is a tricky one. I think, you know, so I think so far we've seen Katie Cat. I think we saw Kiratine play a game for them, which was, you know, reprimanded. Obviously, he's playing on another team. And we've also seen Drunken Monk. And I think Drunken Monk is the way to go here. That's who they've got playing, subbing in today. I think he's going to be the one to make a difference. He had a pretty good showing last week. And out of the 3 subs, he was the best. But like you said, it's not a Prodigium. It's a big difference when he's gone. He's obviously like one of the top shot callers in that team, and you know the games play so different. They seem just like a bit more organized when he's around, but it looks like, yeah, they've been taking a big dip. I guess I imagine if they make finals, he's probably going to come back and do the old sub me in, coach, but until we get there, it's going to be hard to say. I think they're genuinely going to struggle to make it to finals if without him. If they don't win this game, I think, yeah, it's looking really rough. And, to see Destiny not even make top four in the tournament that they've, been reigning over for years, since they've been thrown off last year, maybe they've just been thrown off the whole game. Maybe they're just over it now.
Yeah,
It's going to be crazy. It's just big stakes on this game.
it happens over time. A lot of the names that were really big back in the day when Destiny was playing in the Season 1 of NTE Sports, a lot of those names have faded out into the background here. There's no more double Fs, there's no more big names like Uzi that are out there, and a lot of them were retired for one reason or another, but that people's lives get busier, but most important, the older you get, normally your skills fade out a little bit more, but that's usually tied in with not playing as much. And I know these guys, they live their busy lives, so they're trying to keep up with the youngins here, keeping them honest, checking their reads on the meta and stuff like that, which I don't think they're as good as they used to be. With some of the drafts we've seen at them come from them haven't been spectacular by any means, but they still have the mechanics to back it up, and we just need to see them perform to the level that we know they can. But Job Seekers, on the other hand, this team is having a little bit of a resurgence. They really didn't have too strong an identity at the start of the season. We saw them struggling, going win-loss a lot, but I think they're on a pretty big streak right now off the back of some of their key picks, which they found for themselves.
Yeah, and they I say this every week, but I've just been so critical of job seekers this year. But that's because I expect such high things from them. They've kind of been a staple. Chris Strider's been around for a long time now, and he's gone through a few iterations of teams, and each year, it's looking better than the last. And this year, yeah, like you said, it just started off a bit rocky. It was rough. They just couldn't really put it together. They still got some wins here and there, but some of those games were much closer than they should have been. Their game against, I believe, Ad Astra was still one of my favorite games of the year, and it was super close. Unfortunately, yeah, Kira team wasn't able to go that one away, and Job Seekers did their thing and they pulled that game out. But if they want to have a standard, solidify that name for themselves, they have got to beat these teams like Destiny. They've got to beat Youngbloods. They've got to beat Jupiter's Angels. Otherwise, you're not going to make finals. And the new up and comer teams like Corona Spaceship are just going to sweep us all and climb up that ladder.
Yep, Corona Spaceship definitely have been looking good as well. I believe they were a bit shaky at the start as they were feeling out the waters of NT Sports, figuring out the other teams, but now the team has really solidified their identity here as playing that super fundamental style, and a lot of these teams trying to hit you with the X Factor, just hit that brick wall that is Corona Spaceship, and then all of a sudden a lot of those picks they pick for themselves, a lot of the crazy stuff, the dive compositions, it just all falls apart when Corona Spaceship get the ball rolling there. But yeah, we'll see how it goes here. Round 9, round 10, round 11, and round 12. We got 4 rounds left, so roughly around 6 games left, or 7 games for most teams here left for the season. So they have the opportunity to still prove themselves, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, and look, you're right. They've just been such a dark horse this year. I didn't really expect too much from them. I maybe knew some of the players just from being around the NTGE community. Lachlan Campbell is, pretty involved with some fighting games. I believe he plays Rocket League. And, he was putting together a team. We're like, yeah, sick, can't wait. Obviously I haven't seen too much of them, and they really put it together. And, sitting at 3rd place at the moment is just, so huge for them. I really think they, as they keep going, they just keep getting better and better. And towards the end of the season, they might be the ones to beat. Who knows?
Yep. Well, right now we are almost about to get into this Destiny vs Job Seekers, and there we have it. Finally into Champions League after some technical difficulties. Here we go into the Champions League. So now we got the teams out the way. We can really just focus in on the picks Yeah, so what are you expecting to see out of the ban phase for job seekers in particular here? Because
Yeah, well, I think that it'd be you have to ban the Cassiopeia sooner or later. I think Guard has probably played that champion maybe 4 weeks in a row or something ridiculous like that. I don't know. Every time I feel like I watch a Destiny game, I feel like he's typically um, playing that Cassiopeia. We see the Rek'Sai ban come out on Destiny's behalf too. Sergeant Crone is playing that. Rek'Sai is a big threat. No one's let him play it yet. I don't think we've seen him get a game on it yet this year. But has been, scarily dominant.
yeah, Sergeant
Of course,
Crone's
the
had some crazy games. I think he had a real pop-off game on Lilia, but then he picked it versus G-Pies and it wasn't as pop-off. So I think they've found out his most consistent champion is Rek'Sai, and they're taking that off the board, as well as
yeah, well,
other
he does have
consistent.
250 games or something on that champion.
Yeah,
It's quite outrageous.
definitely quite the Rek'Sai specialist, as Chris Strider specializes in a bit of Renekton, which is going to be taken off the board. No surprise for the Yorick ban there. Jimbo Baggins does love his Yorick top lane here, already getting taken off the board, and the Thresh getting taken away from Drunken Monk.
And of course, the Renekton and Diana, we love to see it. Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of the Yorick ban. I feel like since Destiny have kind of been so rocky, always talk about their inti play style, but it's been kind of, with, like we said, with the Prodigium Gorn, it's been really shaky, and Jimbo Baggins has kind of been almost solo carrying some of those wins, where he just, will run bot lane with Yorick and just we saw him in his last game, he just kept whacking on towers until he ended the game. It was just that huge late game scaling Yorick pick, and, without that ability this week, we're going to have to see something new from that guy.
Yeah, Drunken Monk was put onto the Morgana last time he played. He had an opportunity again to pick it into a Blitzcrank, but this time it says screw it, he's going to fight fire with fire and pick more engage into this Blitzcrank. Leona being locked in and Viego taken away. I can only assume that's going in the jungle with all the lane nerfs, but people still have played it here and there in the lane. But you can't be anywhere near as dominant as you were before, forcing those trades, because that health is not coming back a lot of the time. His sustain definitely cut down, so you have to be a lot more careful with that pick. But
Yeah, that's right. We have seen Isuko pick this champion up a couple of times. It seems to be a favorite of his this season since Viego's been released, and we just need to see those pop-off games from him, mate. I want to see it become one of these signature champions and do some work.
yeah,
Sergeant Crone going for the Aatrox here, which is pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen. Oh, sorry, Nooblist. I don't think we've seen him play that champion just yet.
we actually have, and the one Aatrox game that comes to memory is a super carry game from Nublis. He ended up scoring the MVP that game. Him and Zonox played Volibear and Aatrox, and they were just
That's right.
the fattest bruisers
They were just
ever.
unkillable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an excellent game too. Great. Well, it's good to see him coming back on a champion that we've seen him perform on before.
Yeah, but I'm a bit surprised because we've always seen him on this Cho'Gath. Every time it's open, they've picked it away straight away, but maybe they're scared of possible counter picks coming out from Jimbo Baggins. We don't know what he has up his sleeve here, and I believe this is the first time we've seen Job Seekers play the Rumble. That could be going into the jungle or into one of the lanes, we don't know yet, but looks like Trundle is going to be the third round here for Destiny, and Trundle wasn't very popular at the start of the competition, but now he's seeing a lot more play. I think people are figuring out just how strong that pillar can be in these competitive settings.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been looking into it too. That pillar is just like it's so strong. Being able to slow down the whole team while you throw down that frozen domain, speed up. You can just whack on your enemy for ages, and even just like you said, the peel is super good as well. The Rumble pick, I might have a bit of insider information, but we did play some games, some scrims against Job Seekers earlier in the season, and when we did ban out the Rek'Sai, the Rumble was a very successful pick for him, so we're seeing him come back to that one. We'll see if he can snowball this win like he's done in some of our scrims.
Yeah, Rumble Jungle in the past is very dominant now. He saw a lot of nerfs and even some bug fixes that took away some of his power in the jungle. Not being able to get that W max heat at level 1 really does hurt your early clear, but with a good leash he still clears fine in my opinion, so we'll see if he's able to make it work. But they're still not convinced with the Zac ban that this Rumble's heading into a lane. Maybe Chris Strider's been practicing some Rumble mid, we don't know that yet, but they're still not sold as we see with that Zac ban, and Job seekers are just going all in on this AD carry pool. They're not actually leaving much for themselves either because Stairboy has not picked his AD carry, or I believe Stairboy is going on the Blitzcrank, and Short Master will probably be the AD carry, but we'll see what Destiny are going to pick from the rest of the pool.
Senna.
And
Oh, the
the
Boris.
Varus.
Okay, man.
We
Every
haven't.
time I want to see the Senna from Ardmona, he just played it like all last year. When we, watch some of his solo queue games, I swear he's always playing Senna. Maybe I'm a bit out of touch on my Ardmona champ pool, but
Yeah,
the
and
Boris is a nice pick here.
I think something that has a big thing to do with that is not having the comfortable support that he's normally playing with that's familiar with fasting center strategies and stuff like that. He's playing with Drunken Monk, which he has only one other competitive game with. And of course, the Misfortune, which we saw absolutely demolish some other teams, is now picked away again. And the Blitzcrank, of course, Stairboys, Blitzcrank, Short Monsters, MF. These are just MVP generators in the bot lane here, so I'm excited to see how they go into this Destiny bot lane. The pedigree of Ardmona is going to be put to the test here, and on a pick we've never seen him play before. In fact, I don't think we've seen a Varus in NT esports period yet. Varus has not been touched by a lot of these teams, and it's been very high priority in the pro scene. That poke build just allowing you to get so much damage down while being so safe, and with abilities like Leona stuns and Trundle pillars to just guarantee the arrows are going to land, I can imagine this Varus is going to be doing a lot of damage this game, but he has to survive this laning phase first.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're not seeing the Cassiopeia on the other side. I don't know my mid lane matchups too well, but I've just seen Gar just pick it relentlessly over the last few weeks. But he's going for the Orianna.
Yeah, a bit of a basic pick. This champion hasn't even been touched for a lot of times, but they have been slightly changing major items. So this champion is looking a bit better as the patches go on, and as other super strong melee mids like Viego and Silas get nerfed. Orianna obviously comes back into power here, so he's going to pick that up against the Ahri. Pretty even matchup in the mid lane. So not looking for anything crazy, but yeah, definitely these mid laners do like to play around their teams, so they're going to be fighting for that wave control and having those rotations around the map. But yeah, this draft from both sides, I'm liking it a lot. Destiny, normally I don't enjoy their drafts much as late, but they were about to pick that Lissandra up here, which I wasn't going to really agree with, but they switched over to Orianna, and the comp's looking pretty good for themselves now, and I'm looking to see what they can do against job seekers.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see the Misfortune come out again. People are really sleeping on that champ when they're playing these games against job seekers. It's like the last 3 weeks in a row we've seen that champ hard carry job seekers, some of job seekers games. It'll be crazy, and to see I think just about everyone on job seeker side has something they're more or less fairly comfortable in. So if there's ever a game for them to pop off and take another win away from Destiny, this will be the one.
Yep, they've got Nooblis as their solo frontline here. I feel like that's the only worrying part. This Aatrox is going to have to put in a lot of work setting up for these Rumble and these MF ults, but other than that, they've got so much pick on their side. Ahri and Blitzcrank probably, if they get the vision control, are just going to set their team up so well to get these picks. And DST, we've seen in the past, have not played too well from behind. So if job seekers run away with things in the laning phase, I think DST are going to really struggle into this matchup here. But we'll see how the laning phase goes. We've got 2 minutes left on the spectator delay, so what a perfect time to hop over to our sponsors here. And the major sponsors for the season: Paul's Iced Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Darwin. If you guys went to that press start event, there was Paul's Iced Coffee everywhere there. David was giving it out, still helping us out so much. And of course, McDonald's Darwin, I believe last week we gave away a McDonald's voucher to Chris Strider. Luckily, he won the spin wheel. I don't think I've been given the prize list, so I won't be running a spin wheel tonight. And in fact, the stream might be a bit shorter, so we'll see if we can organize something for that Saturday stream here. But other than that, Northern Territory Government, as always, giving us so much funding to help us fund things like even possible exciting things coming up. I'm not going to reveal too much, but you might be getting some new segments here on the stream, or possible episodes recorded, uploaded to the YouTube. We're still working things out here, but we're trying to provide more content into the future here. So you might see me and Django working on some stuff on the sidelines along with other casters, and seeing how we can improve the stream here.
Absolutely, yeah, it's going to be so exciting. We're just going to see this level up. Obviously, we had a pretty rough week last week. I don't know if you even watched the stream, but I had my first stream. It was a bit how you going, but we've got some stuff in the works, and come finals time, we're going to have some pretty high level production and some excellent games to have for you guys. So make sure you tune in for those. We're just about 4 weeks away from that, I think. Just under a month, we'll be starting finals, which is crazy. It's gone so quick.
Yeah, soon they'll probably be announcing the venue and other information like that, but I'm not holding our breath. I'll wait for that information to come through. But right now, we'll shout out our minor sponsors also helping us deliver this content to you. Next Tier Entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Game and Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Hot Spring 7, The Rabbit Hole, Palettes of India, Fresh Point Cafe, John John's, Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting, all our local businesses supporting us here. Thank you so much to them. And right on cue, I believe we are hopping into our loading screen here. So let's go ahead and transition to that straight away. Liam's actually remember the names for once, and hopefully everything goes fine from here and no more.
You got that good memory, bro.
But yeah,
yeah, sick.
Looking
wait
into
for this game.
Champions League, I do. A lot of these champions are a bit flexible with their keystones here, so interested to see what they pick. And looking at the top lane there, Trundles always usually take Halo Blades, if not Guardian, sometimes in support, but Halo Blades is usually the more popular pick to just really punish someone when you find that good pillar, and it looks like Jimbo Baggins is taking that into the top lane, but it's pretty interesting. If they're like the top lane exchanges always go a bit longer, so Conqueror's looking a bit better in those long-term exchanges here, but Halo Blades is definitely going to give him a scary early game. And probably one of Aatrox's weakest points is that early game here, so we'll see if he can find any punishes with that keystone choice.
Yeah, that one's gonna be an interesting one. Jimbo Baggins favors the split push a lot, and Trundle's a champion that does that extraordinarily well. One of the best in the games at the split push. The Halo Blades isn't the best for it. It doesn't proc on towers. It only procs on champion hits, if I remember correctly. So I'm not too sure it's going to scale too well for him in the long game. Maybe he's not even thinking about it. Maybe they've been working on something else. But
we don't
definitely
know
keep an
how
eye
it's
on that
going to
one.
go. It could be a whole breaker Trundle just absolutely demolishing the side lane. I remember back in the day of World of Tanks, just Poppy, Nautilus, Maokai top lane. Trundle would just absolutely be a nightmare for these teams that draft this tank top laner, and this Trundle split pushing on you, and he absolutely shreds your tank, steals their resistances, and just melts your towers here. And I think in this meta, it's even worse with items like Hullbreaker. So, see what sort of style Jimbo is going to choose in that top lane here. And we'll see what sort of plays we're going to make in the early game here. I think we had some spicy early games early on into the season, but now teams are... I think there's more at stake on these games, and people are taking the safe ways out. Especially Destiny have been punished super hard for some of the level 1s in the past, so it's no surprise to see them playing a bit safer than they usually do.
Yeah, going for just about the 5-point start. I think their job seekers might be looking for a reward on red, but they're going to get spotted instantly. There's no one to collapse on them, but if they do go for the vision, they'll know it's there. Looks like Sergeant Crone's just heading out. Rumble's going to go and start bot lane, it seems. Drop a ward as he leaves. Should be, a pretty boring start. He might... Oh, yeah, it looks like Destiny did actually just spot that ward, so... Maybe they are assuming he's going to go to the red side now. Dropping that ward and backing is a pretty common tactic for the junglers these days, so... maybe they can get a read there. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see how the pathing goes for these two junglers. Looks like they're starting on other sides of the map here. Asugo going to be starting on that red, pathing down towards bot, and Sergeant Crone going to be pathing towards his top lane here. And I think if you have a Trundle with a Halo Blades, he really does want to try punish that Aatrox. So we'll see how he's able to do that, because I don't think Asugo is going to be helping him out too much in this early game here. Unless he goes for something cheesy.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. He's pathing for it. Oh, he's actually gonna go for the blue buff.
Yeah.
If Jimbo plays this right, they might be able to get a fat gank off in the top lane nice and early, but I think, there's still plenty of time, but it's probably gonna push towards Noobless in this case. Rumble's coming up. Is he close?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think he does finish that before anyone comes.
Yeah, just get
But that
that blue
doesn't get
buff.
him level 3. He's gonna go to the Gromp.
Yeah,
Oh
he
no,
might
he's
get
been
found out
busted
here,
now.
but you see Rumble's health bar right now on the side of your screen. It's actually quite low. He's about half health if he runs into
Uh-oh.
Viego, but you might see a level 2 fight between these two junglers. Never mind, there's a level 3 to 2. He gets a smite down onto that Gromp, and he's just gonna
He's not going for the
exit.
stun. Yeah, I guess he early onto the Ari rotate. He's gonna walk right over this ward, probably catch a stun. No, just gonna eat through. Yeah, nicely played from Asuko. He's still gonna get his blue buff unless Sergeant Crone rotates there right now. He's gonna try and get some more camps. Obviously, you lose a little bit when you only farm one side camp. You just got the Gromp at this stage.
This is
just
really
doing
hard
raffles
for
now.
Sergeant Crone unless he goes to the scuttle. Even then, it's looking pretty hard with the bot lane priority. Destiny's bot has able to secure themselves, but luckily for him, Asuko's not on that side of the map. He's going to choose the top lane scuttle here, so he's not going to get punished too hard. But yeah, I thought he was about to run into that blue side jungle and try and get the salty run back on the blue buff, but the lanes weren't looking too favorable.
He gets away with it now, right? Oh, okay. I was wrong. Drunken Monkey Mono are heading up there right now. I mean, just predicted that maybe he was up there. But it still hasn't taken the blue buff, so, that's putting Asuko so far ahead when it comes to XP. It's huge for Asuko.
Yeah, and looks like they're just trying to make sure Sergeant Crone's not getting too much pressure out, but he is still going to commit to this. The mid lane priority has been in Chris Strider's favor, but it's slowly starting to bounce back out now. So I think this is where the mid lane priority really matters, and we might see some mid laners come into the action here in the jungle. And the bot lane is definitely in the favor of Destiny. I think they're going to rotate up so quick here, and Sergeant Crone definitely has to be careful. But I can't see if he's got it, but yeah, it looks like he does have a blue buff there, and he has successfully completed the heist. Oh, nice sidestep there from Mona, just completely calm and collected sidesteps out on Stairboy's hooks, which he is very good at landing, mind you, so that is no small feat to be mind gaming Stairboy this early.
Yeah, all that time kind of just wasted when, Sergeant Crone gets that smite off. It actually ends up being probably a pretty even jungle pathing by the end of the day. They both got a Scald each, they're both getting Gromp each. I guess, yeah, if he gets to do golems, Asuka obviously missed that with the invade, so who knows, maybe it even goes in Sergeant Crone's favor now, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I feel like there's only one reason why that was ever allowed, is because DC Guard didn't actually have the mid priority there. If he has mid priority, all three lanes have complete priority, and you're pretty easily able to track down this Rumble where he's going, and it would have completely stopped any comeback plays like that, and he possibly even could have gotten the double scuttle. Asuko really should have been looking to push his advantage once he really did find that favorable trade in the top lane, taking away the Gromp and the blue, and really look to put this Rumble behind and snowball this Viego. But instead, things are now quite even, and it's reflected by the gold here as you see at the top of your screen. Both teams neck and neck, even though 5 minutes have passed. Not that there's some sort of gap here just from whoever's CSing better, but both teams actually neck and neck.
Yeah, it's the top lane's been pretty interesting so far. It looks like, Nublis is obviously down in the XP lead, but he has just been abusing Jimbo Baggins, who had to blow a really early teleport just to get back to lane. He was trying to shove it in. I don't think it was even necessarily the best teleport, but I guess there was a freeze in Nublis' favor, and he wanted to shove that in. It's going to be important to watch those guys and see who picks up the first blood if it comes even. It's a nice gank happening, but Stairboy eating in. He's got the nice stun. Stairboy getting the flash heal treatment and the hook going wide on Asuko.
The CC
nice hook.
Yeah, the CC lane was perfect there. I was very scared that there was going to be a hook into tower from that Blitzcrank, having those summoners up, but instead they CC lock him down, and then they're able to dodge that final hook on the end there. So very favourable trade there from Destiny, very well played by those players here, but Sergeant Crone is now looking to back up his bot lane, but DC have that slight advantage because of the flash burn and the chunk onto the support.
Yeah, unfortunately getting spotted out by that ward. Might have got a nice counter gank, but I think he just has to concede the Drake. Drunken Monk, I think, got to put that ward down, and it's a really nice early start for Destiny.
Yeah, and DC Guard is really starting to show his prowess in this mid lane. A 15 CS lead here, pretty significant advantage for nothing crazy happening, and of course getting that mid priority there to just guarantee his team gets that dragon. There's no chance for Job Seekers to do anything there, and I think it's interesting because he's playing into an ignite and he's running the teleport. He hasn't actually even used the teleport to gain any super advantages here. He's still held onto that, and he's still able to use it for his team if they need it here, trying to make any bot plays, stuff like that. DST guard's going to be on the ball.
Yeah, Nublis just had to take it back there, and it's playing his TP now as well. So, you know, Jimbo's is halfway done. Nublis has just started, and yeah, DST's the only one with the TP up. So, if there's ever a time to, you know, get some playmaking happening around the map, it would be now for Guard to use that summoner.
Yeah, right now the gold is still pretty even, but slightly favoring DST. Mostly in that mid lane there, you see about 200 gold lead. 300 gold lead rather. I'd say around 20 minions is around worth a kill of the champion, so 300 gold for about 20 minions there that Guard's been able to build for himself. But every other lane's pretty even. Top lane,
yeah, as far as Destiny games goes, this has been pretty quiet. We might see our first blood here. A nice pillar coming out and the ulti immediately being dropped from Nubis. Asuka gonna hit the stun, but when that Aatrox get his ulti off, you're just not doing that much damage. He stayed around to trade a little bit.
And the equalizer's dropped here. Can he find any trade? Asuka has a reset on his ultimate here. Sergeant Crane has to be careful, but he doesn't drop it at all. He just ends up dying there before
Sergeant Crane kills both here.
Yeah, and Chris Strider's on the way up here. He's looking for it, but there's a play in the bot lane. The ult lands onto the MF. The burst combo. Goodbye, Shortmaster. No chance there. Maybe should have considered taking cleanse, but Chris Strider's going for the play, but he doesn't actually find it. But he drops the ignite as he died.
That's gonna be enough. Yeah, look, it's a good trade, I guess. No, he drops his flash and ignite.
That's
really
play.
bad. Jimbo Baggins got a lot of value there. Unfortunate, Sergeant Crone hit an awesome ulti in the top lane, and Atsuko just walked into that one and copped the whole face of the flamethrower. He's gonna go down there, and of course, as soon as we say, nah, pretty quiet game, there's gonna be 5 deaths on the board.
Yeah, but the gold value definitely going in Destiny's favor. DST Guard having a lone time, but Ardmona gets hooked in there by the Blitz, going to bullet time, trying to finish him off, but Drunken Monk tries to sacrifice himself. He has flash. Can he make the flash over the wall? No, he can't! And Ardmona's going to die to Sergeant Crone as well. It's absolute disaster for DST bot.
Oh, that is really rough. That was an awesome hook from Stairboy. Absolutely decimating Ardmona, instantly blowing the flash heal. He got burst down with the Misfortune ulti, but even then, Sergeant Crone just ignored the Leona and chased Ardmona down and got a nice kill there. And unfortunately, Drunken Monk burns the flash, doesn't make it over the wall. He's going to pay for it with his life there too. Really nice play from Sergeant Crone.
Yeah, Noobler's getting traded on here, but we see that Aatrox is pretty easily able to kite around that pillar, having that mini dash here. Trundle trying to make any plays on him with that cooldown up. It's actually quite difficult with that Aatrox, keeping you on a little bit of a range leads here, but he's going all in for Jimbo Baggins here. He is into that Bramble Vest, so his healing is cut, but Jimbo Baggins isn't opting to take this fight. He's just burning the ult and getting out of dodge there. But yeah, not quite the lane dominance we want to see out of this Trundle here, because it's not going to scale as well into the team fights, especially if he doesn't have a really good target to take those resistances off.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, I guess that's just kind of how this lane goes, unfortunately. It's kind of, they both just have so much sustain in the lane that you have to make a great all-in trade, and neither one is getting bursted fast enough to actually die there. So, once that trade ends, they're both just going to start healing up from the minions anyway. It's unfortunately a bit stale, that matchup.
Alright, both junglers are heading towards the Rift Herald side of the map, but both mid laners are heading towards the Dragons. I don't know what's going on with this macro play here, but Sergeant Crone is definitely on that Rift Herald now, but Asuko sees a little bit of an opportunity on Nubis here. He's going to go for the gank.
He's going to walk over a blue ward, and Sergeant Crone's rotating instantly. He hits the flash stun. Nubis is trying it. I think it's going to go down again. A great equalizer coming up, but Asuko has gone invulnerable for the time while he's on top of the equalizer. It's unfortunate. A really nice gank for Asuko. Unfortunately, Sergeant Crone just missing out on the rotate there.
Yeah, finding a beautiful flash, but walk out. Chris Strider here is going to get the CC comboed, but unfortunately the shockwave knocks him out of the Leona ultimate there. And the beautiful Beautiful hook there from Stairboy. He always delivers, and Chris Strider's going to say thank you very much. Pick up that kill onto the enemy support.
Yeah, just hands in the gold over there.
Oh, and doesn't stop there. Sidon goes on the flank here. He's not throwing out the hook. He's just completely mind-gamed him there. But unfortunately, there is a punish on the bot side of the map. When your support's roaming like this, you have to give respect over to the enemy bot lane. And the wave is just in an awful position there for Shortmaster. He wanted to see if he could get anything, but unfortunately, he tries to walk up, and Jimbo Baggins is just going to teleport on him and just take him down very swiftly there. But at least they do pick up the top lane teleport, but unfortunately I believe that's going to translate into another dragon for DST. So the game state's pretty even, a small advantage for Destiny, but the small advantage could definitely snowball into a bigger one with these dragons starting to stack up.
Yeah, and look, it's been kind of leaning towards Job Seeker's favor here. I think the scaling champ's doing much better. The equalizer coming on cooldown just in time, and actually Drunken Monk gonna get picked up by Chris Strider. The ulti coming out from Ardmona is gonna kill Stairboy, however. Another trade. These guys just keep going 1 for 1.
Yeah, lots of kills back and forth here, but we see that it's still slightly edging out for Destiny just because they're always getting these advantages on the side. Nublis had some alone time here, definitely going to pick up a small lead in the top lane now with that experience gained from this alone time, and the plates from the tower are going to give him a little bit of a boost in the top lane. So we'll see whether that's able to help him deliver in these team fights before the enemy team build any significant grievous wounds. Looks like Ardmona's in a bad position here. He's trying to kite around the two enemy champs, and he's doing quite a good job right now. He's playing so well around this alcove. He's alcove gaming, and here comes the Leona. The cavalry is here, and he picks up the MF, but will the trade come back? No, DST guard is on the rotate, and they spot him out. They're not going to chase that Leona any further, but how well did Ardmona play that to make that kill happen? He was in such a bad spot in that alcove, but he just plays perfectly around the vision and the ranges, and he's able to just buy enough time for the Leona to come and grab the kill.
Yeah, once again, you know, every time it feels like Job Seekers are getting one up, you know, Destiny are taking one back. These 1 for 1 trades just going to go forever. Stairboy's trying to solo defend this tower right now, but Nublis is actually TP'd down. He's not going to find the stair onto Drunken Monk. And he's going to hit the Qs. He's dashing around. He's doing so much damage. His team is only just getting here, but DST guard, he huge ultimate. He's still going to get caught up. The Ignite is on. He is burning. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think they both live with their lives here.
Yeah, Chris Strider missed the E and the Q there. If one had landed, DST guard is definitely going down. Unfortunately, he drops both there, and DST guard's able to make it out with his life, just barely, and that's pretty significant here for the mid laner. But they're trying to trade back onto the side of this top lane, but there's not even plates up for the Rift Herald. It's quite sad. He doesn't even get the tower, doesn't get any plates here, so the punish on the other side of the map isn't very significant, if at all, here. And Shortmaster's found some alone time versus mid tower. He's going to try and get it before Drunken Monk arrives, but he has to be careful of that Leona ult.
This first tower gold is huge. I don't know. Maybe you even die for that one. I'm a little greedy dog, so I actually take that death there, I reckon. I go for those couple of extra autos and get that, you know, what is it? 400 extra gold at that point. It's huge if you put that on Shortmaster. We know he can carry when he gets the gold on that Misfortune.
It's definitely a interesting thing to look at. He has flash available, and a lot of the time you would flash for a kill, no doubt in your mind, but would you flash for a first tower? It's not as often a situation you encounter, but definitely something that's relevant to think about. Looks like they're going for a play onto Stairboy, and look at the damage out of DST guard. They absolutely blow him up before anyone's able to rotate, and yeah, another
Nothing
great
they can do about that one, just getting bursted down. The kills are officially, you know, going even. They're looking for a trade. Jimbo Baggins' ult's kind of scaling up, you know, when they go for these trade ultimates, they're going into Jimbo's favor now. I guess Nublis didn't use his, but there's another ult he's coming out. DST guard living again.
But that was
just keeps living.
Beautiful solar flare from the Leona to keep his mid laner alive there. If he didn't do that, he was 100% dead. Silent Crone's actually dropping the flash onto Drunken Monk. Really wants to pick up this kill, but here comes Asuko on the side here. I don't think he's going to grab any kills before Asuko arrives, and unfortunately the Viego is here to punish Sergeant Crane. He's going to go down here to the Ruined King. But he's doing a damn good job of
looking at it. It's a long time there. It was close, man. Unfortunate with the flash not finding anything.
Oh, and here comes
like we said, Nublis still had the ulti out from it earlier. And Jimbo Baggins just going to blow the flash. It's so close. These stale games, man. It's so hard to try and see one get one up. We're seeing the gold lead start to go in favor of Destiny. They're kind of cleaning away. There's about 4k in the bank at the moment. But, you know, what are they going to do to capitalize? I think, you know, it's really hard to get these team fights when the equalizer is up. Sergeant Crone is actually pretty fed. He's got his Night Harvester, and those ultis are still doing loads of damage and chunking the enemy team. It's gonna come down to a well-played Ardmona ult, I think, if they win this one.
Yeah, this game, he's kind of been flying under the radar, but actually the most fed champion in this game right now in terms of gold is actually Ardmona here. He's sitting on 7.3k, being able to pick up a lot of those bot towers, and I think, I'm not sure who got the first tower. I believe it was Ardmona in that bot lane, and Trundle got the second, but yeah, definitely a lot of gold going over to Ardmona, so having this lethality, he's working towards that mana immune, and once he completes that, he's going to be absolutely shredding people with these Qs on this Varus, but till then, oh my god! Bit of a delayed reaction there at Isuko, but yeah, he definitely saw his life flash before his eyes when he saw that hook come out. But you know what?
Yeah,
Let's just say he flashed it. Let's just say he flashed it.
Good flash, Isuko. Let's pro players, man.
But that was a very bad equalizer. I don't think it's accomplishing much at all. And all these ults are damaged over time. It's extremely easy to smite against these abilities when they're trying to steal with. It was just a miscoordinated play. And honestly, they're just getting heavily punished here in the mid lane too. They didn't have priority. The tower goes down. Jobseeker's trying to force this play out too much. But you can see why they're now on 3 dragons out of 4. And the macro is starting to hurt the Jobseekers here. All those resources they bled.
Soul point this early in the game is so dangerous. We have to assume, you know, this game isn't probably going to go past, I would say, 35 minutes. You know, by the time that Elder Drake is up, it is going to be game defining, and you know, whether or not Destiny can get that next Drake is going to make all the difference.
Yeah, and there's an incredibly strong dragon here too. It's an ocean dragon for so many of these champions that do so well with it. The extra healing for Viego is absolutely incredible. The extra mana for both the Orianna and the Varus, yeah, it's just going to allow them to endlessly spam their spells here.
Yeah, absolutely. Even on the Trundle, you know, he's going to be healing so much. If he might even be allowed to go and start getting those big split pushes that we know he loves to do. If he gets that Ocean Soul, he's definitely going to live a lot of those as well, which is going to be huge as well. But in the other corner, you know, if Jobseekers can get every Ocean Drake up until the last from here, that would be huge for them too. You know, Nublis and Sergeant Crone are going to be loving all that healing while they go in for those skirmishes.
Yeah, I think it'll be about 40 minutes by the time they get to that one. It's definitely playing the long game. I don't think they should be looking for the Ocean Soul win con, but definitely looking to find some picks to get back into this here. That having a couple good picks, even they can maybe even force out this Baron here, make some crazy plays to try and get back into this game, because right now Destiny is slowly creeping away with it, and this next dragon is going to make or break the game for them.
Yeah, if there was ever a time, everyone's kind of just like fighting over vision at the moment. You know, the gold's about 3k, you know, as far as that goes, the game's still more or less pretty even. The fights could go either way. It's yeah, really going to come down to the Drake. I believe we have just a little bit of time left before that one comes back up.
Yeah, a little bit of a lull here before anything crazy happens. But the teams are definitely setting up their vision line. They're going to be looking to hit their power spikes before this dragon happens. But yeah, I don't know what they can hit right now. Ardmona is about as strong as you're going to get. He finally hit that mana immune, but he's not going to be able to stack it up by any means before that dragon. Pretty good item spikes here onto the Rumble, but looks like they're actually looking for a play onto Nublis here. Look at the pillar slow. He's got nowhere to run.
Excellent pillar. Yeah, Nublis just going down. He's going to keep fighting. He's doing a lot of damage, to be fair, but the ult's going to come out from Isuko. He's just going to secure that one. I don't think Nublis lives there. I think it probably takes a bit longer than it needs to, but blowing the ult, you know, is a bit rough there.
Yeah, good play from the side of Destiny, playing around that vision line, catching out the Aatrox. Pushed too far up, splitting here. Looking to maybe even pick off this misfortune with the Leona on the wings, but not going to go for any crazy plays. But yeah, we're seeing the vision start to make the difference here, and that's normally what's helping Jobseekers win their game, is just finding Fog of War, Blitzcrank hooks, really setting them up for success. But right now we haven't seen much of that because Destiny's playing around their vision so well.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the timers, it looks like Ocean Drake's coming up in just under a minute 20. So if, people start to get those, got to start backing to, refill those wards, pick up a few more pinks and try and, you got to get the pressure around the Drake right now. You can see the side of Destiny have actually kind of favored a lot of their vision towards the top side, so maybe they're just going to try and give the Drake and go for the Baron, which is, really strong when you're on Soul Point. You have to contest one or the other.
Oh, and Admona looking
And
for a
Admona
play.
throwing out the ult, landing onto Shortmaster, and she's just going to throw out the ulti in return. Not too much going to come of it. Shortmaster is going to get poked down quite a bit, but going to be pretty insignificant in the long term of things. Everyone's got to get those backs on now. The Drake's on the way. It's 30 seconds to go.
Starboy
It's going
has
to be
been
game defining.
burning so many flashes off of this Blitzcrank, but unfortunately hasn't been able to find these hooks because of those flashes. If he found us an insane prediction there to pick off Admona, that may have been potentially game saving, but it looks like that Summoner Spell is just going to be traded here, and they're going to find no significant advantage in time for the Dragon. Now, one thing to comment on that exchange in the mid lane is actually Varus' ult is very short cooldown. Actually, look over to the side now. It's already up for the Dragon fight on the hand of Misfortune, though. It's halfway done. There's no way that's going to be available for the upcoming fight here. So that was an extremely valuable trade there from Admona. We'll see if it
They're just starting it. They're going to try and burst it down too. Destiny needs to get in there now. And yeah, look, Sergeant Crone's picked that one up. The fight is breaking down though. The equalizer coming out, which has been quite huge. They're all walking over it as we speak, but I think Jobseeker's going to go down. Sergeant Crone's kind of the last one alive. Shortmaster's going to get chomped on, hooked, and another death from to Asuko. Sergeant Crone did manage to get the Drake there. I don't think he used his smite. He might have just lucked it out, I believe. But just unfortunate. Asuko throwing the ulti out to try and close the gap. Hitting the stun. He's getting chunked out. Sergeant Crone sticking around just a bit too long. And Destiny taking the ace.
Yeah,
making the right call now. Everyone's rotating a Baron. You got to get that one
they're going to pick that one up, and it's just going to be a victory lap from here. We saw how hard it was to play out those team fights. Now you're lacking a bit of damage, especially if your Misfortune doesn't have access to that ult. Ari's not putting out any substantial damage here, so that Trundle and that Leona just frontline like no other, and even the Viego, who has a little bit of a chance for you to burst him, he's picked up that Syrax here, and he's going to be extremely hard to drop. And if you drop one character, the Viego just becomes so much more powerful, gets the reset, and the team fights are looking ridiculously hard to win outside of a Miracle Blitzcrank hook or an RA Charm here. I don't think Jobseekers has much left in the tank.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It was so close for so much of the early game, Every time there was a kill, it was being traded. Yeah, the gold diff was not that super significant, but, now we've snuck up to just about 8k, and yeah, like you said, it's hard for Jobseekers to try and keep it going from here. They've got to wait for the next Drake, I guess. You've got 3.5 minutes to go. It's still going to be really rough to, like you said, drag that game out to 40 plus minutes is, almost an impossible task at this point.
Yeah, and even then, if they manage to drag it out there, I don't know if it's even in their favor in the late game versus sort of composition. The Varus is getting scarier by the minute here, and he's going to be chunking out these squishy targets like that MF and that Ari before they get anywhere even near their range. But looks like they're starting the siege here, but the DSC are just going for the split push. Shortmaster ends up getting picked up by that shockwave, almost drops, but instead Sergeant Crone has found himself caught on the side there. Beautiful hook under tower, but finally Sergeant Crone goes down. ACST finds the reset, and he has the ult to get out of dodge here. DC guard is so strong. He's coming in, trying to find the picks, but they're kiting so well. Nublis is in there trying to find the kill, but he doesn't have anything left in the tank. Ardmona's got a piercing arrow through his heart there to pick up the final kill. And DC guard's not done. He finds that auto attack right before he gets charmed to pick up that kill. And here comes Jimbo Baggins with the pillar. Look how fast
awesome pillar.
that MF just dropped.
That's just it. I'm pretty sure that might even just be the game. There's still like 30-second cooldowns. They're just gonna walk this huge wave of minions they have through to the towers. Just so unfortunate from Jobseekers. They played a really strong early game today, and once again, Destiny is just like aggressive, snowbally play style. It's just taking them to another victory.
Yeah, Destiny looking a lot cleaner there. Isuko making all the right plays. DC guard being that solid pillar in the mid lane, and they definitely had the X factor. Ardmona playing with the most initiative I think I've seen him play with in a while. There on that Varus pick, he's looking very good on that pick there, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it too. You know, it was a little bit rough early game, but like all Varus is pretty rough early game. He's a scaling champ. But you know, even though they were like some of those were really close, he did manage to pick off like some important wins. You know, like you said, trading with Shortmaster and that alcove play was actually a pretty big deal in the grand scheme of things, I think. And being able to just keep getting those 1-for-1 trades. You know, Sergeant Chrome was making so much happen around the map. Chris Strider was roaming. Then you know, Asuko is just ganking top, or you know, like we said, Admona making that alcove play. It's just like, huge.
Yeah, that is going to be the game done and dusted there. DSC picking that one up over Job Seekers, and that's going to cement their place into top 4 even harder with that win. Job Seekers is going to have to keep on struggling, seeing if they can drag down number 3 or 4 and climb over their corpus and get into that top 4. But yeah, it's looking like a difficult road versus teams like Destiny if they're playing that strong.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. You know, both teams have just about played the same amount of games, and you know, Destiny have 2 more wins. It's really hard for job seekers to get in there at this stage. And look, even then, you're looking at the other teams in the top 4. Destiny has the most games, and they're 2 points ahead of job seekers, and they're not even first place. You know, the Youngbloods and Corona Spaceship still both have 2 games to play to even match them, and you know, I believe one of them is against each other, so one of them has to get a loss. But after that, both the teams have been pretty dominant. So you know, it's going to be important. You got to see if Corona Spaceship can pick up some of these wins. See if Youngbloods can, you know, keep the train moving. It's going to be really tough to see Job Seekers maybe not make it into finals this year, which would be, you know, huge upset in the term. Oh, you know, the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, we call it an upset, but I believe last year they were kicked out by Youngbloods. The top 4 from memory was Jupai St. Angels, Destiny, Neg 20, and Youngbloods right at the end of the season just kicked them out. They dragged them down, and Job Seekers missed out on playoffs by a hair. And it would be so tragic for the same fate to be awaiting them the second season in a row here. So I'm hoping to see if they have anything else left in the tank to bust out here to get those wins leading
Yeah, I
up to
totally know
playoffs.
what that feels like too. Yeah, you know, yeah, we played on the same team for a long time, and you know, for a while it felt eternally like second place, third place. It's pretty rough. So to constantly like just miss the mark by not getting to finals would just be, you know, pretty devastating for job seekers. And you know, I think they've kind of even got a bit of an underdog story coming up, and I'd love to see them, you know, sneak their way into the top 4.
Yeah, well, we'll have to figure out who we're going to give SVP on the side of job seekers here. And I don't know, looking at that sort of game, I really love the early game coming out of Sergeant Crone there. But apart from that, that they failed to translate on a lot of these things afterwards. But yeah, it's hard to
Yeah,
look at anywhere
you're right.
else.
Yeah, you're right. Like Sergeant Crone, you know, I think he was pretty lucky to pick up some of those golds. He was maybe just getting there a little bit late for some of those ganks and, you know, getting some of the scrap kills. And like you said, yeah, he just wasn't able to translate that lead that he got in the Rumble. Some of the equalizers weren't quite the hit, but also Stairboy, you know, the reason they were doing so well in the early game was Stairboy just hitting some like immaculate Qs. Obviously, some they didn't really come to fruition. You know, they were just short of the mark, but you know, I think, yeah, you can't look past Deadboy's Blitzcrank. Short Master's Misfortune. Unfortunately, it didn't pop off this game, but yeah, it has been quite the combo in recent weeks. And Steboy, I feel like still had a pretty good game today.
Yeah, so that boy definitely had some missteps for sure. He got caught out a bit, but it's very easy to do versus a champion like Trundle. Like Blitzcrank already slows himself a lot of the time. Having a Trundle slow on top of that definitely doesn't help your case at all. So Stairboy definitely tried to keep the team afloat. Sergeant Crane had a perfect early game, I'd say, what you want out of that Rumble. But unfortunately, ACST one-upped them there. So I don't know. I'm looking towards the jungle or the support. I'm honestly looking to flip a coin. It's very hard to make a decision. I'll let you have the
Yeah,
executive.
I like the coin flip. The coin flip sounds good. I've got a coin right here. What would you like, heads or tails, sir?
Heads for Sergeant Crane, tails
Heads for
for...
Sergeant Crone. Here we go. It's all up to fate. That is a heads for Sergeant Crone.
Yeah,
Very nice, well earned. Yeah, I think it was a pretty close competition between both of those guys. They both played pretty well today. And unfortunately, just not able to keep the team rolling.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. Sad Boy's already picked up enough MVPs onto his Blitzcrank's name there.
Agreed.
So
Very
I
agreed.
don't think he's going to be too fast giving one up here for his jungler. But on the side of Destiny, again, Asuko, he's also a coin flip player himself. He's either having these crazy performances like he did on this Viego, or he's just straight up feeding. No
Yeah.
other way to
Yeah.
put it, but yeah, this is definitely landing up heads for Asuko here, and he dropped quite the game for his team. But also, DST guard can't be understated, and Ardmona had some really significant plays, and even Drunken Monk in the bot lane. Like, you can make a case for a lot of the players on the side of Destiny. They looked pretty good as a whole five.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But coming over to the graphs, yeah, look, just it's insane how much damage Guard did. A lot of his games go like that. I feel like a lot of his work actually kind of goes unnoticed. He's not really in all of the plays during the game. He's usually just like farming mid. But I don't know if all his damage comes down to poke or just really steadily carrying some of the team fights in the game. But he has just been outputting so much damage in the last games. Been crazy, but like you said, I think it goes to Asuko too. He's just all over the map today. He's dropping R's everywhere, getting all the gap closes and finishing them, getting some really close fights and coming out on top. He's been playing really well. I really like him on the Viego pick.
Yeah, definitely honorable mentions to guard there and Ardmona. I really did want to give it over to that Varus, but unfortunately his jungler's just popping off a bit too hard to look away. Definitely had the X factor of that game. So giving over the MVP to Asuko, but we got to hop into our next match quite soon here, so we'll try to get that one set up in the meantime.
Yeah, on it as we speak. Game 2. Do you want to break the bad news to the viewers
Yeah.
regarding our
third
tournament
matchup,
situation?
our third matchup tonight isn't going to be aired for sure. We know that much because Purple Cobras have forfeited that one, but they may have also forfeited the rest of the competition for those who are unaware. Obviously, Purple Cobras finding themselves at the bottom of the standings, as you see, is already incredible. Tough to keep morale up when you're in that sort of situation, and of course, you can kiss their playoff dreams goodbye because there's no way they're gonna fork out the wins, even if they won the rest of their matches. There's literally zero chance of them making playoffs. But who knows? They're not locked in yet out of the competition. They're thinking about it. We may come with an executive decision by Saturday and figure out what we're going to do for that. But definitely for tonight, you're going to have no third game for Purple Cobras, unfortunately. So sorry to all the Purple Cobras fans out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely in there earlier. I want to see him succeed, but yeah, I totally know what it feels like. I'm an absolute feeder when it comes to solo queue, and if it's anything like this, just constantly losing, just finding it so hard to get any sort of lead in these games. Yeah, it is hard to want to keep playing as well when there's almost no chance left.
Yeah, well, we will try to set up that next game swiftly. It's going to be Casuarina Gentlemen versus For Fun here. It's going to be quite a close matchup because both these teams are definitely, in the past, they've had really close matchups versus each other, but even on terms of the ladder there, it's basically the same here. Casuarina Gentlemen have 4 wins to For Fun's 3 wins, and they've both got 7 losses to their name, so finding themselves towards the bottom end, but I don't know if they can pull off a miracle run. It's looking pretty rough for both these teams to make playoffs, but I think it's still possible if they win all their matches for them to make playoffs. So
it could be huge. I think some teams might have to lose all their matches for that to happen as well. Which is pretty tough considering obviously they're the better teams. They're gonna win some more of these games, and it's a shame because I feel like if we remove Purple Cobras from the conversation here, we're talking about 6th, 7th, and 8th place. So the bottom 3 places, I actually don't feel like those teams are that bad. I feel like we've definitely seen them have games where they've absolutely shown up and had some really good games too. Some of the top team games, I know when they've faced Jupies, when they faced Young Buds, it hasn't actually been that close. But against the likes of Destiny, Corona Spaceship, and Job Seekers, it has actually been pretty close games. And there's been a few times, especially with Astra, they've been so close to pulling it out, and just no luck. It really unfortunate. I think if these guys stick to it, keep some practice happening in the off season and come back next year, I think they can all seriously be strong namesakes in the league and have some dominant showings for sure.
Yeah, really looking forward to see how these teams, make their all or nothing towards the end of the season. This is where you throw anything against the wall, see if it sticks here. Because, if the traditional stuff wasn't working for you before, you may as well go out with the bang and try all those pocket picks you've got lined up. So we'll see whether they're able to deliver in that way. But yeah, we'll see what they can do. Who do you think is going to take this matchup, just from your previous experience?
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Yeah, look, if bias removed, I think that Casuarina Gentlemen actually sneak away with this one. They have been like one of, I think, the only other team other than the other top three teams that have actually taken games away from Destiny. They've just shown that they can be like extremely dominant. They know how to play the game, and they've been playing 5v5 for so long. They're really strong, but Casuarina Gentlemen, we refer to them as Destiny Academy, has actually taken some games off Destiny and maybe should be the Destiny roster. They're a sick team. I think they can be really strong. Compared to For Fun, I think they've just had better showings here as well. But nothing to take away from For Fun either. They've still had really strong, really close games against the likes of Job Seekers Alliance. So it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. I'm leaning more towards Casuarina, gentlemen.
Yeah, both these teams actually have been to Destiny Slayers, other than Jupies. I believe the only other two teams that have beaten Destiny are the
Yeah,
ones
you're
playing
right,
each other right
actually.
now. So
Yeah,
I
you're
find
right.
that pretty
You're right.
entertaining. So it's going to be, the Destiny Slayers versus Destiny Academy here. See who's going to take it here, because For Fun did beat one of the Titans in the way of Destiny, but they haven't been able to find that consistency, and they've had some crazy performances out of the likes of Houdini, but the rest of the team needs to keep up that pace here for them to guarantee those victories. Because, that matchup versus Corona Spaceship last week, it was really difficult. A lot of the lanes just got completely gapped there, and Houdini tried his hardest to keep that team alive, but the other lanes have to show up to play here, and I know they can do it here. They just need to find their comfortable picks. They need to get themselves favorable matchups here, and work together as a team. We'll see if we can see the full fun that we saw versus Destiny that allowed them to take it.
Yeah, that's it. And look, but if we see both of these teams on their best day, they're strong teams. Like they're not easy by like any consideration. They have some players that can really like snowball their games and take it to the next level. Uh, and it would be an absolute game to see them both. Like I said, you play on their best day. Some days we just don't always get that, and some days they can have like the opposite end too, and just have some pretty poor performances as well. So I don't know. It's a tough one, and it can go either way.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. I do like For Fun's attitude. I think this is a team that does study a lot, and I like to see how that study comes out into fruition here versus a team like Casuarina Gentlemen, who haven't been too clear cut. Bin Laden's been a steady performer for them, but even Malix and Iron Sigma have had their pop-off games here that have allowed them to pick up wins like Destiny, pick up their upset wins here and there. But I want to see what strategy they're going to employ versus Casuarina Gentlemen. This is a team basically at their skill level, so they have to be able to take this one. Otherwise, there's not too much hope for them for the rest of the spot there. I believe we're about to get into the lobby here, and yes, we are into Champion Select. So we'll see how they strike here. Honestly,
I
between
might
these two
have to
teams,
flip the question on you today. Oh, in terms of bans, do you have anything that sticks out from these teams? Just like off the top of my head, not too much is coming to mind. Have you seen anything dangerous from either side of these teams, ban worthy?
well, obviously Bin Laden made himself a name quite early on into that competition with that since we've just taken on the board. That's a pretty easy cop out now that it's actually been banned. That was the first thing I was going to say, just as I was about to say it, taken away. But yeah, I think for strategies, For Fun really doesn't have a crazy star player outside of that jungler here, so having proper research into what he's capable on here, taking away the early playmaking junglers is probably going to slow him down a lot here and allow your lanes to work their magic. Because having an early game jungler like that Kindred or like the Zinzao, we've seen him in the past, really does make all your laners have to play super scared, and Houdini can rule the map with those sort of picks. It's basically how teams play against C9, with Blabber being one of the best early game junglers into
Yep.
the scene there. He just absolutely gaps people if he gets his Olaf or his Xin Zhao. So I think it's the same sort of effect here with For Fun, but they still have to pay close attention to the laners because they're no slouches by any means. Kel'Thal finds himself on a lot of tanks here, so I'm hoping Bin Laden's prepared something in advance. He's already taken away the Cho'Gath, one of the safer tanks. So who knows, Fiora did just cop a nerf, but even seeing a crazy split pusher or a champion with tons of kill pressure in the top lane, we might see Bin Laden be able to take things in the top lane because he's one of the better top laners in the tournament for sure. He's had some great performances and picked up plenty of MVPs to back that up. So I want to see some top lane priority for the start of Casuarina, gentlemen.
Yeah, all the hovers here I'm liking so far. It looks like it's going to be the Maokai. Nah, I'm going to switch to the Mundo. Excellent. Yeah, I agreed. Mundo is, a top champion in the meta right now. The champion, it's not the strongest in the early game, but after it gets his ult, he's just running you down. There's not much you can do. You have to get some natural, grievous wounds to even have a chance to be able to deal with that, or you're taking Ignite, which means you're not taking TP. It can be really tricky to deal with that champion. I really like that as a first pick here.
Yeah, it's one of, I said Cho'Gath's pretty safe today, but I think Dr. Mundo's even safer being able to farm basically from any range that you can play up in people's faces and look for the trades, or if you just want to concede to the lane priority, you just farm with your Q and makes distance, and its cooldown's pretty short, and so you're pretty safe on that champion, even into the worst of matchups here. So
Yeah,
I wonder how Bin Laden
that.
is going to try punish.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he tries to pick up. Maybe even like the Gwen is a good pick. That way you don't have to take the flash. You still get the Ignite. Even then, he's still going to be so hard to deal with. We're seeing the Nunu come out, who was recently buffed too. Maybe Frog Spotter is got a pick that we're not, super knowledgeable about yet. Maybe he's been keeping his eye on the PBE and has found an absolute banger. I don't think we've seen too much of it in the NT Esports League so far, so maybe we'll get an excellent debut game.
Yeah, but Lee Sin being picked up here for fun. I don't think we've seen Houdini on it yet, but he's definitely shown himself skilled enough, so I'm looking to see if he's got any crazy Lee Sin mechanics, if he's going to be pulling off the insects. Would love to see it, and yeah, both teams just drafting a crazy amount of CC for their comps here. Dr. Mundo just brings that slow to the table, but yeah, Lee Sin bringing the slow, the knockups, Leona bringing the stuns for days, and yeah, Nunu and Nautilus, they're quite the strong combo for locking targets down, and they've got the pillar in their arsenal too, and they're so tanky already, so if you're looking towards the side of For Fun, you need to start drafting some significant damage in that mid lane or that AD carry to bring down these tanks that are getting drafted from CG.
For sure, it's huge. It's a lot of health coming out from the side of Casuarina gentleman there, and I actually really like the Trundle pick. I haven't actually put too much thought into this, but I suppose if Trundle pillars Dr. Mundo, he's going to blow the CC, and then he's just getting slowed down anyway. It's going to be a really strong peeling tool against Dr. Mundo there, actually.
Yeah, and it's actually quite a easy way to pop his passive without too much repercussion. A lot of the time you feel really bad for burning like a Nautilus hook versus the Mundo because he just continues to walk at you, but the Trundle pillar knockup isn't very significant, but it's still a knockup at the end of the day, and it will proc that Dr. Mundo passive, so it's a pretty easy way to burn that passive and allow your team to lock him down. So
yeah, for sure.
That's
just being able to
go ahead.
Get that big chunk too as well by proccing. Dr. Mundo loses like 10% of his current health or his max health from taking CC as well. And so people think it's like really busted, but if you can walk over that and just keep proccing it over and over, you can just like do a lot of damage even just by hitting your CC. You don't even need to all in, just like poking him down when he gets that passive up. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, Ash locked in pretty safe early game bot laner there, but definitely not by any means a hyper carry. And speaking of here, we're seeing the Kog'Maw locked in. Paired with a Leona, you don't normally see it, but Kog'Maw into these sort of champions definitely is still going to be relatively safe here. I'm sure he can still dish out lots of damage. He doesn't need a Lulu to back him up here, especially with the front line that his team is rocking, and a Syndra there to just help control the team fights even more, allow this Kog'Maw to pop off. I do like as a blind mid laner here a lot here, and we'll see what Malix has as an answer. Unless, of course, it could be even the Nunu mid lane. Malix has tried it before wasn't very successful, but it was into a pretty rough matchup. But now we'll see what they pick out, and yeah, more damage being drafted. The mid lane and the 80 carries definitely have a lot of work cut out for them to try and cut through the tanks that both sides have drafted.
Yeah, that does make it a bit more interesting. Yeah, the Victor coming out, you're right. I think they are lacking a bit of damage. I don't know too much about Victor. He definitely can output a lot of damage, but his DPS isn't that strong to be able to deal with like the likes of Mundo, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Victor, his early game is very pitiful. Into the mid game, when Mundo's sitting on 2 items, he's sitting on like a Sunfire Cape and a Spirit Visage. You're absolutely just tickling him there unless you're just really accelerated. But if it does end up going to around 4 items, that Mundo becomes a lot more manageable with Victor. You're pumping out the shields, you're dropping so much DPS over time there. It's nothing crazy, no big one-shot chunks, but Victor starts to output crazy amounts of damage at that point. And Ashe too, with the Wits End build, honestly, I'm liking a lot versus sort of team composition. I hope Iron Sigma's done his research and is keeping up with the meta, because it's quite meta on Ashe now to build Wits End first. And into this sort of composition versus 4 magic damage, I think you're absolutely insane not to run that.
Yeah, it's going to be a big difference maker too, I think. I don't know, I'm a big fan of a fun Steam comp here too, you know, like we said they had so much CC, and you know, I was thinking like, oh, I'd be scared of the engage, but after that Cogmore comes out, it's like actually kind of be scared of the peel. Cogmore might be able to live like a really long time as long as he plays like a really strong, like front to back comp here. You can be putting out a lot of damage and, you know, might get the opportunity to get to that late game hyperscaling Cogmore that we know and love.
But yeah, every single member on the side of CG has CC to try and catch out that Cogmore one way or another, so he has to be playing super well. If he's playing frontline Cogmore, I don't think he's very long for this world, and that is a big chunk of damage taken away from for fun, so definitely want to see him be the hyper carry that his team needs him to be this game. But Syndra definitely can create advantage early on Lee Sin. If these champions get leads, they kind of snowball like no other here, so we'll see whether they're able to convert those leads here. So definitely looking forward to see how the mid jungle plays out, especially because Syndra and Lee Sin is such a disgusting early game combo into something like Victor and Nunu, nowhere near as strong early game. So they definitely have a lot of the map open to them early, and we'll see how Houdini and Corruption can use that advantage. But we have a little bit of time, so we're going to go over to our sponsors again, guys. Thank you so much to the major sponsors. Territory's own Paul's Ice Coffee, still their 60th anniversary. They're celebrating it. They're giving out so many prizes, not just to NT Sports, but all over the territory. Make sure you're supporting them, guys. They are local. They are our heroes, as well as Northern Territory Government is helping us out a lot, doing other stuff like the NT Game Jam. If there's any programmers, game designers, whatever, in the chat here, there's actually a game design competition running as we speak. I believe it goes over the span of 2 weeks here, so if you guys are a bit slow, you still have some time to catch up. Probably sign up and try to get your game in and see if you can pick up any prizes, because I think there's thousands of dollars to be won in prizes there. So guys, if you are by any means a programmer, definitely do not overlook that one. Some money to be won there. And McDonald's Darwin, yeah, some vouchers to be won in the future. David's been giving them out. Chris Strider won one himself last week, so make sure you're sticking around because they're giving back to us. But other than that, we'll go over to the minor sponsors, give them their shout outs. Our local businesses, Next Year Entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Gaming Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sport Club, Howard Springs Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Palace of India, Fresh Point Cafe, John John's Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting, all supporting us in this local scene here. But yeah, almost done with the spectator delay, guys. About to hop into this loading screen, bring you the final game of the night, unfortunately. But while we have a little bit of time, yeah, we'll just touch on that situation. Purple Cobras, of course, they put in their best. They put their best foot forward, but unfortunately, yeah, the skill gap was a bit there. They did have some fairly new players, and they're definitely going to be reconsidering that if they're going to continue to play. But yeah, we are working on that situation. Too long didn't read of the situation, even though I'm speaking. It is basically we'll know by the end of the week whether they want to continue. But if they don't continue, then the rest of the matchups, first Purple Cobras will be buys, and the teams will get default wins on the ladder. So it's not going to affect the competition crazy too much, but it will affect your streaming experience a lot. but we'll see what we can do in order to fix that. If those slots do open up, we'll have time to try run some other segments for you guys, and we'll see whether we can get some community involvement, get some podcasts going, type content like that. You know, just speak more about the scene and the players themselves. See if we can get
That's
stuff.
one of the most exciting parts too, I think. You know, like we've had the scene going for a while now. The guys that are playing really know some of like the guys who are playing. We're starting to get familiar with each other, but we, you know, we want to like you guys know who they are too. Once you put a name to the face and be able to have that pop off opportunity. While we're just like advertising NTG here, we've seen a double invade. I actually like FF's invade here. They've actually gone for the top tribe rush, which is really uncommon. Now, maybe even looking corruption to get a little bait happening, but on the return side, Casuarina Gentlemen have just gone for the invade with the Nautilus. Obviously, they have a really strong invade with the Nautilus, Nunu, even the Trundle, but they're not going to find too much. Looks like maybe Houdini is still looking to do the red buff. They might catch Trundle out here.
Yeah, he's
Three of
actually
them
really
stayed.
worrying, but I don't think they have the CC to lock him down, even if they find him here. He's got that flash, but they do get the sneaky red. But Corruption's giving it away by walking over that ward right now, so I think Casuarina Gentlemen are going to suss out what's happening here, and they have appropriate vision to set themselves up.
Yeah, for sure. They obviously have the ward on the red on the other side. Damn, Malix was looking. They have the red wards and the red buff. So we'll probably see some top to bottom jungling here. Each jungler just gonna take one of each other's buffs, which is, you know, always fun. Some fair even trading should make for some exciting ganks. Hopefully, see how these lanes pan out.
Yeah, Nunu's trying to get back that red buff that was taken from him, but Corruption's being a little bit annoying, keeping track of that Nunu, but I think he is going to eventually get towards that red buff there, otherwise Corruption's going to lose out too much in the CS, and looks like they get falling victim to the level 2 all-in. Iron Sigma going in with Superman here, and Greedo's really low, he's going to die. The flash onto the Ashe, picking him up super cleanly there, and Versynth is really low as well, but unfortunately not quite able to put out the damage to take down that Leona. But yeah, that's just a bread and butter strategy. If you get the priority in the bot lane, you got to be careful, especially versus champions like Nautilus, who can bring the lockdown, set their Ashe up so well. Definitely
absolutely, that level 2 is so scary. You know, obviously Nautilus just got so much CC to lock you down, and then you're just not walking away from Ashe either. It's just going to slow you down and make it so hard to play that lane.
Yeah, and that's definitely not the character you want to see dropping behind early on. Kog'Maw, of course, isn't going to be too hurt by this. He doesn't really need a crazy amount of items. There's a lot of power onto his W here, so if he's able to just pick up that with's end early, he'll be really hard to kill for champions like Victor and still be putting out so much damage. So not lost by any means, but still you don't want extra gold in the Ashe's pocket here, because it's going to be biting your team pretty hard when this Lee Sin or this Mondo try and make plays and they're just getting perma-slowed by this Ashe and melted down.
And other than that, it's pretty slow. It's come out to be kind of even towards some of these lanes. Cathal's looking for a trade, but, you know, once again, it's that Trundle. He's just going to keep biting those minions, and it's such great lane sustain. You're going to have to go for that all-in, or you're not getting much. Houdini and Frogspot have actually caught each other out. Both mid laners are roaming. Frogspot are actually having to flash away. Quite unfortunate there. I think it was needed. Corruption might have caught him with the stun. Even with that, the mastery he's got there, getting that move speed's not going to be enough to save him.
Yeah, and this is the priority we were talking about. Corruption already had the lane pushed up, it was already there, and I don't think he was needed even in the slightest there. Houdini has the full level lead. If you look at the CS gap, he's already built himself a significant lead. His pathing has been a lot better than that Nunu. Of course, Corruption is a big reason to that, just annoying that Nunu and not allowing him to take the camps that he wants. So good mid-jungle synergy like I was talking about between Corruption and Houdini for fun. It's definitely helped them out a lot. Otherwise, I think they would be a bit behind because of that bot lane, but the mid-jungle duo has generated them enough gold to keep themselves even in this game.
And then we're seeing that what we were talking about earlier. You know, see how slow Mundo got there. Bin Laden can take some of these shorter trades, but you know, Mundo still got that, you know, passive regeneration. He's getting 2% of his max health every second. It's like a mini Warmugs. You know, it's hard. I don't think too much is gonna happen in the top lane in this game, much to my dismay.
Oh, but what's going to happen in the bot lane? Nunu's heading down here onto this flashless Leona. We'll see if he's able to land the snowball, and it looks like that is an easy snowball confirmed there. Picking up that support.
Man, actually picking that one up. Yeah, but it's a little bit of trolling. I'm pretty sure that was pretty free. Just live Iron Sigma to pick that up, but
Yeah.
you know, share the gold, share the love.
Yeah.
They're gonna rotate straight onto that Drake. The nice Infernal Drake's really gonna help this snowball.
Ignite does do that sometimes, but yeah, probably could have played it out better. Still, a kill is a kill, a dragon is a dragon, already looking good, and yeah, definitely a good gank for Frogsprotter to get something back there. Houdini was looking to have a pretty significant lead on him here, but he's still only one level behind, but at least he's getting successful ganks off for his team, and that's basically all you need to have successes in Nunu. Once you get those lanes fed there, you're just going to sit in front of them and just peel this Ashe and peel this Victor, let them do the work.
Slowly, we're seeing this kind of come in the Casuarina Gentleman's favor. A team I think we both predicted would be the better team in this case, and it looks like the bot lane has just got a bit of a lane diff, bit of a bot diff happening. Obviously, you know, there's a big scaling difference here, and it's just tricky when you do fall behind as Kog'Maw, as you were saying earlier. It's just like hard to get that gold back.
Yeah, if there is any way back into this game, they have to be playing around mid-jungle here. You see the CS numbers in the mid and the jungle already. They've created such a big advantage for themselves here, and if they're able to translate that anywhere into the map, so if they take the mid-jungle bot lane, they look for dive plays, or they're taking it to the top lane and they're making herald plays, it's looking really good for them to pick up this win. Corruption's actually flashing in. He goes for the combo with the EQR. Very interesting. I don't know if he even needed a flash there, if he had all those abilities up. Probably should have just looked for the safe stun and just dropped the ultimate there, but instead just gets the guaranteed kill, flashes in, drops the ignite, drops the flash, and they pick up Malix there in the mid lane, who's pretty far behind on this Victor now. Victor is definitely a champion that feels awful from behind. You're already doing so little damage. If you fall behind, then it's just even harder to have an impact, and Bin Laden is having an impact in this top lane. Drop in, Keldal is so low there.
Damn, yeah, he had to blow the ult and the flash there just to live, and he's still getting really close to dying, but there's an engage in the bot lane too. Superman diving forward, being getting poked down quite a lot. Iron Sigma actually getting poked down too. Iron Sith is doing so much damage, but the Ashe ulti coming out, it's going to get hooked up, the heal coming out too, and that's going to be it. Oh, Bin Laden going down the top lane too. Greedo blowing the cleanse, the flash. Man, it's all really looking up Casuarina Gentleman here. Unfortunate for Bin Laden going down there. He just didn't quite have the jungle diff, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, and we see how strong this Lee Sin is. You gotta be careful there, Frogsprotter. You're 2 levels down onto Houdini here, and he absolutely shows it there. Bursts the hell out of that Nunu, going for that play. And Malix, of course, being an early game victor, brings almost no power into these skirmishes. So it's just an easy pick up there, and they got to be playing around their strengths here right now. Casuarina and Gentlemen need to be playing around Iron Sigma in that bot lane, because Malix is by no means going to be helping you out anytime soon. Bin Laden is definitely going to be putting pressure onto the map, but he's by no means strong enough to be pulling out these 1v2s. So I would be looking bot lane if I'm Casuarina Gentlemen, but if they continue to challenge Corruption and Houdini, I think they're finally going to find themselves some big advantages here.
You're right, and it's going exactly the way he said it would earlier too. If they needed a chance to get into this game, it was going to be mid-jungle, and even top getting some gold there too. That's brave behind Sigma and Superman that, you know, he's not going to get team diffed, a little win lane, lose game situation. You'd hate to see it. We got to see the rest of Casuarina Gentlemen kind of pick up their act a bit.
I wonder if they noticed that Nunu sweeper there, because if they look at the scoreboard right now, neither Ashe or Nordis has a sweeper, so if they're on the ball, they should be able to deduce that Nunu's sitting in that bush with a sweeper active. But
yeah,
they're in
it
a
looks
pretty
like they
safe
are kind of
position.
just sitting back. They're not necessarily stepping up to get this wave anytime soon. keep our eye on it. I'm not sure they're sure.
Oh,
they don't
here
see
we
that
go,
pass.
they go for
Oh
the
no,
play.
there's the big Ash ult.
Superman
They're
has
going
the
straight for
hook.
Guido. They're walking straight past Vineset. He's gonna go down again. And the Nunu ult coming out.
Oh, but he doesn't
He
get the
just held it a
damage.
bit too long. And Vineset's actually gonna live for Frog Spotter, holding the ult too long there. Bin Laden and Cathalis are fighting the top lane. Cathalis has popped the ulti, so has Bin Laden. They're kind of just duking it out. Cathalis has a red buff, but it's still not making enough of a difference here.
That was a clutch stun there for the Victor, just to stop him, but he ends up walking back in with the Syndra. Having all her spells available, bad idea. And he gets taken down straight away. Unfortunately,
Frog Spotter just coming short with the snowball there too. I think Malix lives if he actually hits the gank, but no luck for Malix.
yeah, just tiny misplays there. A little bit more range onto the Victor. He probably doesn't get ulted by that Syndra. If the snowball just goes that little bit further too, maybe able to find the knockup, and they can chain CC this Syndra down. But unfortunately, a bit of a misplay, and Corruption just pulls off the successful 1v2 there, basically. But yeah, I think the unsung hero of this game is actually Kelthalis, as the most CS in the game as this Mundo. He's been doing just fine into Bin Laden, one of the better top laners, and he was in the counter matchup too. Bin Laden had the counter pick, and he's completely delivering here, making sure Bin Laden stop running over this game by any means. And yeah, we see now Houdini and Corruption playing around bot, picking up the dragons for their team. It's looking pretty good now for Full Fun to win this game.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way we saw happen in the top lane too. Oh, the stun coming out. Houdini hitting a sick insect, but is it gonna be enough? He kind of threw himself too far into the tower. Malix actually just gets to flash out of that one, and Houdini lives. Corruption actually coming closest to dying. Unfortunately, didn't have the ulti up and wasn't able to finish Malix off there.
Yeah, he missed that crucial Q there, unfortunately, off the Lee Sin kick, and if you miss that, you're probably not dropping him there, so he rightfully backs off. But yeah, almost had the insect play there. I like the attempt from Houdini, definitely looked flashy, but yeah, unfortunately, a bit sad to see the kick into a Syndra with no abilities up. But still, nevertheless, they pick up the flash off of Malix, and he's definitely getting more and more behind.
Frog Spotter's looking for the gank. Cathalis doesn't have his CC ignore. Frog Spotter's gonna snare him. Oh, it came back just in time. It's so rough.
Yeah. Bin Laden has itemized Grievous, but I think he should have gone the Executioner route, because we see if Kelthalis just isn't auto-attacking them, he's not reducing anything. Kelthalis has to be actively
when he's running away, he's definitely going to live those ganks. Houdini's kind of spotted here.
That was a big pillar. It cancelled the Lee Sin Q damage, and they're going to look to turn this one around, but Kelthalis is still plenty strong. He's tanking them up for ages here. Houdini looking for an angle. This Frog Spotter is still quite squishy, and Corruption is here to punish. Frog Spotter's walked right into his lap here. Corruption's going to continue here. They're looking to find Bin Laden, but he outspeeds them there right at the last moment, able to get to safety. But yeah, Frog Spotter getting punished heavily on this Nunu from behind. Looks like they see the action top lane, and bot lane might want to make a play now that they're not on this side of the map, but no, pull back here.
Pretty rough for Frog Spotter. He's had a pretty tough game so far. You know, there's some ganks that just not really going his way, and he didn't. I guess he just didn't have the snowball up for like entering that gank there. Otherwise, he definitely would have hit the CC on Kelthalis, and you know, might have had a better chance at obviously getting a stronger ultimate off, doing some more damage. He would have definitely come close. Even then, just getting the rotate on, he stayed way too long, and obviously Houdini and Corruption able to come make some serious gold diff back in the top lane.
Right now, Kelthalis is the richest man in the game, picked up 4 plates already onto that Mundo, doing a spectacular job, almost farming 10 CS per minute as well. He's doing such a great job into this game, but is it enough to outperform this bot lane? It's looking like so, because bot lane's even scared to make plays in the 2v2 right now, and it's not looking good. Ashe is probably going to back here, but I don't think she even has enough for the Mythic here, and again, we talked about the build that Ashe probably wanted to, she does have enough, but this isn't the optimal build for Ashe, I don't think so at all. Having that shield bow is actually probably just about the same as having that Wit's End.
Malix? Oh, Malix barely living there. Corruption didn't have a Q up to drop. I think he walked up to ignite, but didn't press D. Now Frog Spotter's coming in. The Corruption's kind of doomed himself to some good CC. He's going to get knocked back, but Corruption's definitely getting stopped here.
He's got the flash
ulti's coming out. Oh, just living it. He actually kills Frog Spotter there. And Corruption lives with 1 HP. That is so unfortunate.
And
Frog Spotter just not having a good game today. It's so rough. You gotta be
Nice.
feeling for Iron Sigma and Superman right now. They're kind of getting lane diffed around the map.
Iron Sigma tried to get the Ash ulti onto the recall there a little bit too early, about 3-4 seconds early. Otherwise, he might have gotten that kill back for his team, but unfortunately, not gonna happen. And yeah, Malik is just looking mighty depressed. I don't even know if he has this laser augment, and it's 15 minutes into the game. It's really tough for this Victor right now to be having any sort of impact, and this Nunu as well is just gonna get absolutely blasted by all these magic damage dealers. He's itemized so much armor in this game, but look at the side of For Fun. We talked about this 4 AP, and he's just gonna get absolutely shredded.
Yeah, it's really tough. Once again, just like look at Kelthalis, he's so rich right now. It's what, like nearly 2k. It's just a little bit more money than Iron Sigma in the bot lane. Frogspotter's got to be careful. He's getting caught out again here. And the big kick coming up from Houdini is just going to finish him off. Frogspotter's kind of letting the team down here. I don't know. It's a bit of an inty performance so far. I hate to get the flame train out, but it's not looking good for Frogspotter.
This is what I was talking about. Mid jungle is significantly weaker, and if you don't start playing like you're weaker, then you're gonna start inting like you see ahead of you. He's still trying to make the plays for his team, but unfortunately, you have to give respect over to the mid jungle right now. You're just leagues behind them, and even if the game state was even, it's still very difficult.
Yeah, really tough here. Alex, oh no, you can't be doing that, buddy. He's just living with 1 HP. These guys just keep living with 1 HP. Man, so unlucky. But yeah, just from that Frog Spotted death, you know, Iron Sigma and Superman had the prio on the Drake. They had all the vision, but you know, no team to rotate when your jungle is dead, and that's just going to be another objective going over the Houdini. He's just playing a great game so far. Blowing the ult early to save himself for Yarnsmith. Yeah, very nice ult. Good use of that one there. He's gonna just probably save himself there. The gank was looking quite dire.
Yep, definitely needed ultimate to keep himself alive in the game there, but I don't know if he's able to do much versus this extremely fed Lee Sin and Syndra, and even that Mondo, which normally Ashe is okay versus that on hit build. You can really have that damage over time onto him, but right now he's just so accelerated. I think that Ashe is probably going to be tickling him. It's looking very
it's just
difficult.
rough. Yeah, the gold lead is just getting longer and longer, right?
Yeah, the Dragons are starting to stack up. FF are playing very solid here around the mid jungle. Bot lane has just stopped the bleeding completely, and yeah, it's looking pretty good for them to just win this game. They just got to make sure they're just contesting every objective here. Maybe Riftail's going to spawn again in time for them to pick that one up, and definitely going to be looking to pick up those Dragons here, but yeah, they don't really have to give any respect over to this Nunu or this Victor here. The Trundle holds a little bit of power now that he's completed that Sundra, but yeah, you just have the tools to deal with this Ashe at the moment. She's got 0 magic resistance, that Syndra, no armor first, that armor pen leads in, and yeah, just not enough damage to deal with that Mundo right now. This bot lane has a lead, but I don't think it's anywhere near good enough for them to win this match.
Yeah, they might be able to kind of peel Iron Sigma until they have enough time to deal with him, but you know, also maybe not. It's kind of hard to say at this point.
Oh, beautiful flash hook. Superman's going to land the combo, but he finds the stun onto Iron Sigma, but unfortunately not enough damage. He actually ends up burning the heal there. Completely unnecessary, but yeah, they do make the play onto Corruption rather, and pick up a big shot down for Iron Sigma. So that is definitely a play you want to be making to get yourself back in the game. But look for the punish on the other side of the map. They're starting to make a play. Houdini fancies his chances, and he finds the insta. Flashback, Frog Spotter flashes out. He's using that phase rush. He's trying to get out here, but I think Houdini's able to pick that one up, and yes, he does.
It's just not going to be enough. Yeah, man, it's so tough. Look, like, obviously the Cogmal's outscaling the Ashe, but the Ashe has the lead. You know, if the game goes long enough, Nunu will eventually outscale the Lee Sin, but Lee Sin has the lead. It's all kind of up in the air. The longer this game goes, I think it's still definitely going to go into For Fun's favor, and you know, they've got this huge gold lead so far. They've still got the Herald to put down too. That's just even more gold that they really haven't cashed in on. They're actually just going to drop it now. I guess it was pretty close to expiring. It's going to force a big rotate bot. Maybe they can look for the Baron that's coming up in 30 minutes if enough members rotate.
Yeah, the Kog'Maw is a pretty decent champion at doing it. If he just stacks up enough attack speed, he'll probably burn that down pretty quickly. And yeah, they've got pretty decently fed topside to help assist with that. And yeah, there's not too much to be afraid of in the way of contest here. That Victor still only has one augment on his abilities. He hasn't completed an item yet, neither has the Nunu. They're just not very threatening at all, so you can even make to look crazy plays like that, but it's not as crazy when you have a big lead like this. But definitely just got to pay some respect over to Iron Sigma on that Ashe. Definitely has the potential, if they make a huge error, Iron Sigma is going to be bringing damage to try and punish them, but fortunately
Superman's been caught out.
I don't think it's anywhere near enough. Oh, and Iron Sigma's just gone now. Beautiful solar flare from Yasinth. He's going to be looking to finish him off. Corruption finds the flash Q. Bin Laden trying to find a trade back. Corruption's even going under tower to pursue that, but Houdini didn't want to take that Q. His mind was telling him no, and his body was telling him no. Following that one up,
that's so tricky. Obviously, FF just got the, got the gold there, but I even just want to take it back 30 seconds. Like, dropping that Herald bot is like such a big opportunity for macro. Obviously, it's not the best use of the Herald, but if it's expiring and you know it's heading bot, members of Casuarina Gentlemen, someone has to go there to answer it. And by going to Baron, you get so much more. You definitely get a 5v5. If you're not going to do that, at least on the guy's bot and at least get like some use out of the Herald. I think that's just some of the macro diff that you can see, like that's just, the bottom tier teams just don't quite have yet.
Yeah, but for fun, definitely showing their stuff here with the mid jungle running over this map. Houdini making so many Lee Sin kicks across the map here, setting up kills for his team now. You see how effective it is once he's got all 4 members behind him. Basically, guaranteed kills with these Lee Sin kicks, and he's just pumping them out here. Maybe about to find another one on Superman. Decided Spot isn't worth it. Houdini cutting off Frog Spotter's escape. We see how mobile this Lee Sin is, and there's a teleport now. I don't know if Bin Laden's going to survive this one, getting locked down in the middle of all these champions. Tries his hardest, but eventually does go down there. Alex
not
maybe
what he can do there, man. Frog Spotter, maybe the communication's not quite here at the moment either. It's rough. Frog Spotter's doing the best he can, holding the ult to the very end, but no damage is going to come out of it. We don't channel it long enough, and that's going to be another Drake over to FF. I gotta say, FF are definitely exceeding my expectations here. Obviously, like we were saying earlier, they're both like really good teams, and I did consider them pretty evenly matched. But even this game is just looking, pretty one-sided. Obviously, there was a bot lane diff, but it's just not taking effect now. Even Kog'Maw has like shut down gold. You've been going really well for them, like post 10 minutes. It's they've just snuck away with it, and they're not even really giving an inch.
Yeah, and I feel like, in particular, Houdini excels on these early game champions like Lee Sin, that's no surprise, but Corruption really excels on these control mage sort of style. I've seen him in the past. He tries to play these mid lane assassins very often, but I don't think he knows the limits of these champions too well. I think fundamentally as a player he wants to play more controlled and follow up off of his jungler, which Syndra is completely able to do rather than trying to force these plays like the Diana he had versus Corona Spaceship. He absolutely ran that one, no sugarcoating it. He tried to make too many plays in the Diana, and all of them basically backfired here. So putting him based on a champion like Syndra, which is able to make those safe engages with the stuns and still be able to bring a lot of utility and damage, is definitely more in up his alley here. We're seeing a little bit of a bush camp here with Lee Sin and Leona, but I don't know if they can do this on their own. But team's starting.
Quite gonna get it.
Team's starting to rotate. Definitely. Teams playing around this Baron now. It's a lot more possible with this Kog'Maw at his second item, and looks like they're just starting off the fight here. They're going for it. There's a straight out 5v5 in the jungle here, but
snowball.
They're looking for the angles. This Victor's trying to find all the damage, but looks like they're just getting slapped with their wallets here. They're finding pretty good plays, but they're just too far behind in order to try to take down these champions. And Houdini just landing all the Qs, making all the plays, and his team is following him up spectacular here. Alex is the last one alive. He has some fancy feet. Finally gets hit by the stun
he's gonna get stunned even.
Or
I
dodges
think
out.
Athos just runs him down here. Yeah, he's just gonna pop the ulti. Nunu doesn't have enough damage to deal with him. That's so unfortunate. 34 seconds on Malix. They're not going to go for the game, and they probably head to Baron here and pick up a free one, I would say. A big shout out has to go to Houdini in that fight. It was really well. They got some, Casuarina Gentleman got some good engage. A snowball came in from Frog Spotter and a big ulti from Iron Sigma. Got some really nice picks early on, but as soon as Frog Spotter started channeling that ult, Houdini dashed in and just kicked Frog Spotter into his entire team. He CC'd 3 people and just allowed the rest of his team to come in and collapse. It's really nicely played by Houdini.
Yeah, disgusting setup. Honestly, you're looking to just give MVP over for that one play there.
Yeah, well, you know, the game was probably over, but if it wasn't, that was it for sure. It was that sick play, and you know, we've just seen him hit insect after insect. It's been a great game from Houdini so far. I like him on the Lee Sin, man. Seems to have some mastery there.
Yeah, this is what we need. We need champion fitting the player's play style and stuff. We've figured out Houdini's play style, but Corruption, he's been struggling to put out these consistent performances for his team. Especially being the team captain and one of the better players on your team, you want to be making sure, you know, you're delivering week to week. So even when your bot lane does have a poor early game like this, you can easily cover for it. And that's exactly what they've done here. And of course, it's when players like Kel'Thuz's, like they don't expect Kel'Thuz to carry by any means here. He's absolutely just run train in this top lane too. He had such a good early game into one of the better top laners, Bin Laden, in a counter matchup. He just first picked this Mundo and he's just doing wonders on it. So what more can you ask? This is a recipe for success here for fun. And yeah, they're just running a clinic and not giving anything
even
back.
if you tap over to the gold, man, like it's such a dire situation. You know, 2k in the top lane, 3k in the jungle, 5k in the mid lane. Even Kog'Maw, who was like losing at first, is just, you know, come even with Ardmona. It's, yeah, absolutely outrageous. They've made such a great comeback. It's a really good game from FF. These are the games that we want to see. Like, we know they have so much potential. If they play like this against some of the other teams, they have so much like potential to be up there and join like the top of the ranks.
Yeah, we see little inklings versus teams like Destiny. They've definitely delivered a monster performance. And now they're playing really well into a similar skilled team like Casuarina Gentlemen. If they play like this for the rest of the season, who knows what they can accomplish here. But they got to keep this up. I want to see it week to week and definitely keep themselves honest and make sure their champion pools are staying open here, because even if they perform crazy on the Lee Sin, perform crazy on the Syndra, it might get taken away from them. So they got to keep their playbook open here. But right now, versus Casuarina Gentlemen, I think they've basically sealed this one all but away here. They're about to pick up the soul here. Mundo didn't need any more tanky stats, but he's certainly getting them. And
gonna get that giant mountain shield too. Yeah, it's just so tough. There's nothing you do from here. They're, you know, trying to contest, trying to get some vision back in the jungle. But yeah, looks like they're just going back here and just walk it down mid. I think an ARAM just straight wins it here. It's really strong. Look at Thalas, he's just there. No one can rotate on him. There's nothing they can do. He's so strong here. Like, I would genuinely like to see, you know, 5 of them try and run him down. Bin Laden's looking. That was the slow I was talking about, but nothing he can do. He still has his ultimate, he still has his flash. You're just not killing that guy. He can just take what he wants. Mundo really be going where he pleases. It's, you know, it's so tough.
Yeah, the rest of the team probably gonna follow his lead and go where they please. I don't like this, honestly. That FF, you have the lead. You don't need to be cheesing people with bush camping and stuff like this. You should be pressing that lead, using every second of that Baron when you had it. But they're pulling off a lot of bush camps and they're trying cheesy strategies and stuff. It's not very fundamental at all. So I don't know exactly what they're looking for with these bush plays, because honestly, you have a 10k gold lead. You should be using that. You know, you don't have to give respect over. You don't have to try to cheese anything. You can play by the book here and just seal it out. But they're still looking for some cheeky bush camps or whatnot. Still, it's not punishing them, but yeah, not an optimal play I want to see from them. And Corruption getting caught out here from Frogspotter, finding a snowball from the base, but he has the necessary tools to get himself out. But looks like the team are going to collapse in onto this Leona, and another hook onto Corruption, finding him out here. And looks like they're just going to concede the fight. Actually picks up Malix on the way out with that E ult. taking him down there. We see how much damage the Syndra was able to put out once she was able to move, but looks like at least Syn's just going to get some alone time onto the bot lane. But yeah, this is definitely not clean stuff.
Even then, it was a 5v3, maybe at best. Like, yeah, I suppose Greedo lives, which makes it a 5v3. Obviously, we have Houdini just taking inhibs in the bot lane. Not too sure where Corthalis was, but even then, they got a 2-for-1. Like, the game is just so tough, so over from there. They're the plays you need to make to try and, you know, reduce this gold diff, but it's not going to be enough. They're just snowballing out of control. They're getting so much stronger. Mondo and Syndra and Cogmore just getting so tough to deal with from here. I like the spirit. They're still going. They're still trying whenever they can, and you have to admire their ability to just try and make something happen. But it's not going to be enough, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and I think they should just be looking for the long con here. I don't know why Ash is Phantom Dancer. That should be a Runan's 100%. You should just be looking to farmville your way back to victory. Yep. The only thing that can happen is the enemy team doesn't end. They make a big error, and you're able to just farm like 3 super minion waves with all inhibs down with Runans, but he's gone Phantom Dancer for like single target damage here, and I don't think they're going to be winning any fights because of the Phantom Dancer difference. Looks like Houdini's found another one, sets it up for the team. They clean it up here like a pack of vultures.
So clean on the Lee Sin, man. Iron Sigma's doing his best to Carter. He's throwing the ulti down. W to the team. There's a huge Leona ult. Everyone's getting knocked up. Nunu's going for the ulti. He actually got to pull it off this time, but again, it's still not enough. Superman going down. Bin Laden going down. Trading for Ironsmith, but all the carries are still alive.
And let's be
Cathalis popping the ult. He's going to try and run Malix down. Nah, he's flashing away. That's respect flash.
Being honest, like you can see FF play these fights so sloppy. It just doesn't matter when the gold lead's that big. Malix is landing laser after laser into Corruption. I think he ate 3 over that fight and he's only half health. Normally, Victor's dropping you in at least 2 lasers, but he's got health to spare for days here because how weak that Victor is. The gold lead is just humongous. Yeah, they're trying their hardest here under the Nexus Tower, the single Nexus Tower, but it's just not enough. We see Ash beating down this Mundo, even with the enhanced attack speed from Phantom Dancer. It's just tickling him. Corruption running in, tanking tower. Might be able to find the volley to finish off the target there, but not enough damage. The cannon minion not targeting him either. Houdini going for the Phantom dive. Corruption finally drops Iron Sigma, but he gets dropped in return. Bin Laden going to try finish off Greedo with his ultimate, but it's not enough, and he's just getting kited out by this Cogmore.
Literal tank. Galthala's just walking in the way of Bin Laden. There's just nothing he can do to get on top of Greedo. And that is going to be the game over 2 for fun. Very nicely played by those guys. Such an excellent game. It's exactly the kind of games you want to see from them. It's just a shame it's kind of coming later on in the season.
Yeah, well, it had to happen sometime. Houdini, just beautiful debut performance in that Lee Sin. And doing everything basically you want your Lee Sin to do in your games, because normally what happens to your Lee Sins in the games, they do this crazy early game stuff and they take all the kills and then they get outscaled or something. But look at his scoreline, 15 assists here. I'll transition that over so you guys can see the stats here. 3 kills.
The dream Lee Sin, isn't it? Like everyone wants that Lee Sin on their team. He gets enough kills to get you ahead early, and then to just insec after insec after insec in the late game. That's, I think, the best Houdini game we've seen so far against a team that should be real competition for them. You know, their game wasn't without flaws. Like you said, you're right. The team fighting is so sloppy, and I think maybe even Casuarina Gentlemen have them beat in that area, but yeah, you made it perfectly clear when that gold diff is that huge, there is just nothing you can do to stop that steamroll.
Yeah, we saw the damage Corruption was putting out, and if you don't believe me, you can believe the stats screen there. 33,000 damage dropped onto the Syndra, absolutely demolishing the side of Casuarina Gentlemen. Yeah, really used his advantage to the fullest there on that Syndra. Definitely a good pick for him. And yeah, it just makes the MVP discussion very difficult. Even Kelthalis, he's a silent performer there. He ends up putting out a decent amount of damage onto that Mundo.
Yeah, actually how
Uh,
damaging the Lee
yeah,
Sin is actually pretty insane. I guess if you're just hitting Q after Q, you get to do a lot of the damage within lane, even Trundle like doing 10k damage when he had a kind of silent performance is still pretty good as well. Yeah, Kalthalis, steamrolling the lane that, he should have gone even or at least lost in. It's just huge. But when you look at all these ganks, all the damage that they've done, it comes back to Houdini, right? Houdini's just done like everything in this game. You got like every lane except bot lane ahead. And even then, bot lane were able to like come back and outscale. Credo actually finished with a better KDA than Iron Sigma. So
yeah.
like, man,
Yeah, they did a very good job stopping the bleeding bot lane, but Houdini definitely did an amazing job of getting his team ahead there. But so many insects there off that Lee Sin. Spectacular performance. So definitely Corruption has the numbers to back it up, but he even had some misplays there. He got caught out in the end. They collapsed in and they found the punish onto this extremely fed Syndra, even with a flash up with a stopwatch. He still had some missteps, which kind of lead me away from choosing him as the MVP here and just giving it over to that spectacular Lee Sin. Because let's be honest, he was setting up most of the plays here. They were just the team was cleaning it up like vultures. It's
yeah,
easy to
totally.
it's easy
For
to
sure,
pad
yeah,
your
the
damage.
damage graph shows so much, but yeah, what it doesn't show is just like pure playmaking ability. If we could see like amount of CC hit, I think you'd see Houdini like well up there. He played fantastically.
But yeah, Corruption, honorable mention. He was like solo diving Malix at some point, but yeah, he was kind of just kicking people while they were down. Houdini was just outplaying people left, right, and center with that Lee Sin playmaking potential and showed how to play that champion uh, textbook here. But Houdini gets my MVP vote, but over for the SVP side of things, I think that it's pretty clear cut for me. Superman, he had some good, brilliant hooks to set up Iron Sigma, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, Iron Sigma was the one in the pilot seat for a lot of those plays there, just cutting out, doing as much damage as he can, landing the arrows to keep himself safe versus what is a really difficult comp to play against for an Ashe. He
Yeah,
did pretty good.
for sure, yeah, 100% agree. There was so many situations, but he saved himself with an ulti, and he got some good like ulti engages that was some start of like really promising team fights. But in the end of the day, not able to come through. But yeah, for sure, him and Superman were actually running a train on Grido and Vincent in the lane. Unfortunately, they kind of just like eased off the pedal as the game progressed, and were kind of fearing the Houdini lane gank pressure. It's just yeah, really tough for them. We kind of might have even willed it into existence, but yeah, unfortunately for them, it is win lane lose game. But for sure, my MVP is Iron Sigma too.
Yeah, well, that does it for that. Yeah, it looks like that will be the last game for tonight. Here, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune back in on Saturday for some other games we got lined up here. I believe we had another Purple Cobras game on Saturday that's now cancelled, so you'll have to forgive us for that one. We will try and figure something out to fill out the time slot here. But on Saturday, we will be having Corona Spaceship play two games. The first one versus AD Astra, and the second one versus Jupiter's Angels. So yours truly will be playing versus Corona Spaceship as they try and secure their playoff spot here. Corona Spaceship looking pretty scary into the second half. So we'll see what they can pull out here.
Definitely, yeah. Corona Spaceship, I think probably my favorite team, at the moment. They're like I've repeated a bunch of times now. They've been the dark horse this tourney. They've like just been so strong, and they kind of came out of nowhere and just started racking up wins, and getting them here and there until we got to the point where it was just like we were watching their games and like, oh crap, these guys are actually super good.
Yeah.
They're actually a big threat to some of the top teams, and I'm really excited to watch them play. They've got two games. Obviously, their Ad Astra game is going to be sick. Ad Astra is another team that's just been like performing so well and just haven't been able to clutch away some of those dubs. Those late games have just been really tough for them to close out. And their game against Jupy should be very revealing as well. We'll see what goes on there and maybe see if they've done some scouting, take some wins away from the unstoppable beast, man.
Yeah, we'll see how those games go, guys. Make sure you're tuning in Saturday. We'll go over to the sponsors one more time, give them their due shout outs, and we'll probably close off the stream a bit early because, yeah, I'm feeling a bit fatigued. I got my my vaccine shot today. A bit of slice of life there out of Blading
You're a
State.
good bloke.
So
Good on you, mate.
I'm hoping it's not showing that much for that. There's times where I was halfway through the sentence and then I'm just like,
No,
but yeah,
you're all good, Russ. You've done well for yourself.
we've powered through it here, and thank you so much to our major sponsors for helping us give you content like this: the Territory Zone, Paul's Ice Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Darwin. Our major sponsors. I was about to say our Mick sponsors. I was like, huh? maybe we'll be Mick sponsored in the future, but right now we're just major sponsors. Who knows? Maybe McDonald's will buy out NTE Sports.
Damn,
Mickey
that'd be
Sports.
huge. Actually. I would take some Mickey D sponsors, man.
Yeah, but right now we'll stick with the Next Series Sports name tag, and Next Tier Entertainment, speaking of, is a minor sponsor. Serotonin Beauty, VR Gamers, Gaming Creations, Tracy's Village Social and Sports Club, Outspring Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Palettes of India, Fresh Point Cafe, John John's, Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce May, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting, all our minor sponsors of the season. Local business, guys. Hashtag support local, as Ness Jr. would say. So, without further ado, guys, I think that's all we have for us tonight. Any closing statement, Django?
Yeah, make sure you tune in on Saturday, guys. It's going to be some great games. It's always fun to watch Ad Astro, always fun to watch Corona Spaceship, and then, yeah, we have to watch Bisexuals game. So, yeah, for sure tune in. It should be a great day.
Yeah, guys, even though Jupo is not as fun to watch, make sure, just tune in maybe for the potential of an upset. It might happen.
Yeah, of course, tune in. Yeah, it might happen in a sense. Alright, whatever. Yeah, make sure you watch them too, though. They're putting on clinics every week, so if you're not watching them, you're not winning the tournament.
Alright, guys, that will be us signing out for today. I'll fade out to some music. Peace out, guys.
Gotcha.